today's topic is customer service. What do you think about customer service in
Well,
today's world?
I think it's necessary evil. I think it's, as you grow your business and you do business and you're successful, you're going to have way more. I think this is just logical, right? And you have to prepare, or you find out you got customers to service, things work, they don't work. Think about selling a widget and I didn't want this widget. I didn't want two, I bought one.
Yeah,
You got to service the mistakes. And even the managers and owners of management companies, I bet know and understand exactly what we're talking about.
yeah,
As you grow, it can grow exponentially, don't you think?
absolutely. I think most, we hit this a little bit last time, um, when we were talking about the people that start management companies, right? They normally do that because they think there's a better way. They think they can do a better job, and most of that is going to be based around customer service, right? Because in the HOA management world, that's mainly what they're doing is that managers are taking care of the homeowners or the associations, right? So they're dealing with that customer service aspect all the time. And yeah, I think that it grows, as you said, exponentially.
But what
Um,
grows? What grows? Is it
the,
the
the,
is
the
it the
need,
customers they service? Is it the customers that they service in their definition of homeowner?
yes,
So when something touches it other than homeowner, is that good or bad? A
well,
lender
that's,
calls and wants something because they're going to do something in a house in that area. Are you
you know what?
obligated? Yeah.
Great
That's
segue.
customer service,
Yeah,
right?
great segue into what we do, right? Because that's a great point. Is that their customer service, their customer as a management company is the homeowner,
Yeah.
right? When the homeowner's leaving, that's when we come into play. When the homeowner's moving out, they need that resale package, and now they're dealing with lenders for the new buyer. They're dealing with escrow agents. They're dealing with real estate agents, and that's a great point, Joe. Those aren't their customers.
No.
Those are
And
our.
are they even obligated to call them back? I mean, they are, because I think it backs up to their customers, and then they'll
Yeah,
call them. So they deal
yeah.
with it, right?
I would say legally, probably no, they're not legally obligated, and
No.
from a fiduciary
Fiduciary is not
standpoint,
that. The fiduciary is their homeowners
yeah,
only. That's it.
absolutely, that's the only person they're responsible to. Yeah, so they don't really even have to take those calls at all.
And
But
they have a specific function.
right,
Right.
but they do take those calls from a customer service standpoint, just because they need to get that, they want that process to move forward. So it's interesting that, from our standpoint, with what we do with resale documents is our clients or our prospects they're doing resale documents somehow. They're either using us, they're using another service such as ours, or they're doing it in house. And no matter how they're doing that, what I find is that they still have those customer service calls. So a lot of times they'll go, "Oh, I'm going to hire XYZ company to do my documents." I'm trying to not mention any
I
names,
hear you.
right? So they're saying, "Hey, I'm going to hire this company to do my documents," and then they're those people are doing the documents, and then what happens is the doc buyer doesn't get the service they need from the document company, and what do? They
They
call the
regurgitate.
management company back,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And they
Yep.
go, "Hey, they're not doing it," or my favorite one that I've ever heard, Joe, of all time is, "I was caller number 27."
No.
Yeah. So they called. They said, "Oh, when I called your competitor, I was on hold, and it said I was caller number 27." I'm like, okay, so that
What shows that they're a very successful company, and they have a line of people that will wait their turn.
yes,
I wonder what you're paying for. That's all I'm
but
asking.
from a customer service standpoint, which is our topic today, is that good customer service?
Not from them. Oh, sorry. Whoever
No.
they are.
Whoever they are, it's not right. It's not from them. And here's the thing: like you mentioned earlier, the homeowner is the customer for the management company, not the doc buyers. So why is the management company fielding questions from doc buyers or dealing with those things? So I'm going to break it down like this. We talked about this. You and I talked about this a little bit before. Customer service comes down to two things: time and money. What does it mean to the owner of the management company? It's time and money, Mr. Owner, Mrs. Owner, Miss Owner. It is your employee's time, which as we all know, as owners of businesses, the employee time is the biggest expense that we have. So it's your employee time, which is cutting into your profits, right? So how much time are you willing to pay for your staff to take care of those customer service?
From a owner standpoint, how many people do you have to hire to stop people getting to you? When they're coming to you, when I experience people finding me, I can go to you and say, you're not doing your job, but really it could be, I don't want to pay for another person, which is going to deal with the problem of the customer service calls. And then you also have to know, why am I getting so many calls? You have to investigate, take care of it. And that's something we always do in our office. It's always an indication that something is broken if the phone
Right,
starts to ring. And it's always an indication things are working okay because
right.
the phone's not ringing. And so we have dozens and dozens of clients that make our phone ring. And it's definitely behooves us to keep our phones down. And we have a very small bank of callers. That's because we do our job really well as a company. So are we going to come in and show you how to deal with your customer service calls? No, we know how to deal with customer service calls. We don't take your customer service calls as our business, but we take all the customer service calls that have to do with the documents, and they're
Yep,
pretty big if you charted them, right? You want to
absolutely.
expand on that a little bit?
Well, it really depends on where you're at. If you're doing it in-house, if you're still processing your resale docs in-house, well, what you're experiencing is you're probably have initial phone call. How do I order my documents? Then it's an email. It's a follow-up. I didn't get what I wanted. It's you didn't answer this question the way I wanted
How
it.
many touches do you think?
I would say probably
Six or
on
seven?
on every house turnover. If you're in-house, and please, hey, comment. Let me know if I'm wrong, right? If you're in-house, if you manage or do your resale documents in-house, I would say it's probably a minimum of 4 to 5 customer service touches per turnover.
Could be more,
It
might
could be
be
more.
none, or
It
there's
could be.
always something. There's
It could
always
be
something
more.
for the
You know
in-house
what?
person.
I think there's always some. Okay, it depends on how sophisticated. If what I've seen, Joe, is from in-house people, is I see some of them that say you have to call. Some of them that say you send an email. Some of them have like on their website it says click here and it sends an email automatically to somebody. Some of them have like registration, but there's always going to be some touch with that customer service when you're dealing with in-house. Um,
Would you say we're part of the team? If we joined with an in-house company, would you say we would become part of the team, that they would not rely on us, but they'd be reliant on us to help them with this
so that's a
growing part of their business? As they grow
yeah.
their business, this only grows, right? So
Yeah, yeah. So that's a good question. So the way that we approach that, Joe, is when we're talking with our prospects that are in-house, the way that we approach that is we say, hey, we're not a third party. So first of all, let me just put that out there. We are not a third party vendor. We are a partner in this part of your business. And so one of the things we talk about is that not that we're taking this from you, but we are an extension of your team. Over 90% of the customer service calls that we get, we field. We take care of them. We have resolution. I would say the number is probably close to about 97% of the time. We never have to get the management company involved. Okay.
okay, and then the other question is, how of a percentage of our customer service calls,
Mhm.
would you say there's a large percentage of people that come online, get their documents, and go about their day and don't need help because the site works and it's
Oh,
halfway,
absolutely.
like it's intuitive. People know what to get. They already know what they need. It's no
Absolutely.
question. Unless
Absolutely.
there's something wrong with the document set or whatever, they might call, something's missing, can I get it? But other than that, that's a very light call, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But if they're calling on every deal, on an in-house deal, 5, 6 times is what you're saying, and no matter
Mhm.
what, they're set up to get the call, to walk them through. There really isn't any way that, what would you say that percentage is actually?
Oh, so for us, I can tell you that's I would say the percentage of calls, customer
People that
service.
come up,
I'm
get
gonna
their
say
stuff,
this.
and go about their day.
Yeah,
Not call, but don't call.
yeah, this is how I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna look at the number of orders that we get in a day versus the number of customer service contacts that we get in a day. Is that a fair kind of ratio?
Okay, say that again.
The
Repeat
number
that
of
this time.
orders, the number of orders that we get in a day versus the number of customer service contacts that we get in a day.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we
So
usually get one per order, or is there several? I see
no,
some.
we get about I would say about 3 to 4%, about 3 to 4% of our orders per day is about. So let's say for every hundred orders, we might get 3 calls or 3 contacts from customer service side.
About an
Um,
issue.
no,
About an
yeah,
issue.
and a lot of those are I've never done it before.
Okay, but are you saying
I need to
then
reset my password, things like that.
96% you do not talk to? They come
Correct.
online, they get their document, they go
Yes.
about their day. They were
Yes.
serviced. We
Yes.
serviced the customer. They didn't have confusion to
Right.
have to call. Okay.
Right.
So what would you say? Would you say their customer service? Now, when you say in-house is all, what, every deal? So that's from ours, 3, 4%, 5%, under
Mhm.
5% to 100%. Like they're dealing with it 100%. And that could become, even if it's less, it's 90,
Right.
right? So are
Right.
you saying that becomes the norm for them and they feel as they're in control of the situation? But are
Yeah.
they
It's
really in control of that situation when all I'm going to do is hire another person because we just took on 5 more HOAs, doing your job great as an
yeah.
owner, or the staff is growing the company, but then you grow this problem, 100% problem. You must hire. Am I thinking right on that, or is that the situation? A lot of the customers, we can solve that problem from an owner's perspective. That is an issue to an owner who is looking at bottom line profits when you have too many people doing something that could be automated. I mean, can you
Right.
just expand on that?
We have a client that does 50 orders a month with one person that is part-time doing orders. So they have one person that does all of their accounting, and that person processes 50 orders per month.
Do you think you can talk about how big that company is as far as doors? Or that,
As far as doors,
that
that company is probably around 7,000 doors.
okay, so would you say that's a moderately large company, like
Um,
not
you know,
super duper large, but
our average is, and I heard a long time ago the average is 2,500 doors,
all right, so let's
and
just go on that average. Is
yeah,
that now, just talk about that average, is it average?
okay,
So anything smaller than that average would consider a small management company?
yeah,
And anything above that, so 7,000 sounds like a
it's a
big company,
it's a
but
decent
is it?
sized local company, yes,
Okay, okay. So is
yeah,
that 50 a month on 7,000? Is that, and part-time, is that only because they're using our system that they're able to do that then, is what you're saying?
yeah, absolutely. Because if you look at the amount of time that it takes for an in-house, and let me say this, I'm not grouping all the in-houses together, okay? Because there's
No.
some that are more sophisticated than others. So, so don't get upset if you're watching this. Don't get upset and say, "Oh, well, ours is this and ours is that." I get it. They're different stages,
Different,
okay?
yeah. Mhm.
So you have the most primitive in-house where they literally in fact our newest client we just signed up last week is in-house. They were in-house and they literally, I was in their office and there was a stack of papers this big on their desk, and she said that's one order because she had all the CCNRs, all the documents, everything that has to go. And so they're literally, Joe, this one is literally taking the phone calls. They're telling them you have to come in. They come into the office, bring a sheet, the realtor does, that says, I have permission to get these documents. They then produce a stack of paper, and then the realtor has to come back and pick that up. And so
Isn't
you're
there a sense of control in that though?
for them, this particular company, they weren't doing it for control. They're doing it because they just weren't sophisticated enough to move
But
on to
that's
the
what we're saying. But they were
right,
dealing and coping with all the processes, do a thing legally. Every process, making the
right,
agent come back is not a bad thing. When you have them sign for every document they're getting, you're
right,
making sure they got it. So if you're ever hauled in the court of law to defend yourself, you're very defendable. And I don't think that's a problem. And they
right,
do get that from our site. When they understand that, why wouldn't an owner want to have one person dedicated to this? Or there are 2 people that deal with their homeowners. One person of those
right.
2 people can also deal with this because they're just dealing with the site. Why wouldn't an owner want to do that? And doesn't it give them more control? I think it gives them more control. If they don't have to think about it and it gets done and they verify it by, no one calls me, I'm not
Right.
getting anyone yelling at me that I didn't do something that I need to do. And our system, from what I understand, tracks everything. And we know
Yeah.
when they came in. So when the realtor downloaded, it's like the realtor picking it up. And there's no
Yes.
way around this data. I mean, this is all recorded, every bit of it. So
Yes.
it defends them, I'd say, better than if they're doing it in a very analog way where a file could be lost. Something on your server could fry up, but we have it, we protect it. We do this for our clients.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I elaborated more than I meant to. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on
I'll
it too?
elaborate on your elaboration. So
Well, there you go.
there's
Dovetail
actually
into the
a few
elaboration.
other steps in there. So yes, I believe that it gives them more control. Yes, I believe that you actually have better compliance. Yes, I believe that using working with GetDocs now, you have more control. And the main thing from control standpoint is consistency.
Oh yeah.
Okay, because a lot of times when people are in-house, whether they're putting together a paper package like I saw last week, or they're attaching emails to a file, or they're doing a zip file, they're manually putting together an email with a file, a file, a file, a file. What if they forget one of them, right?
It happens. It happens.
I'm sure it does. And so with us, and then like you said, not only that, you can say, "Oh, I gave it to them," right? But what if the wrong thing's not, it's not in there? But with us, once you set that up, they're going to get the same package every time. They're, when we need someone to get something, we can control who gets it by the realtor, the lender, the escrow officer. We can control who's
What
going to
about
actually get that document.
special requests? What about
Such,
special requests? Because a
such
lot
as,
of companies, well, I would think a lot of companies would like to give credits, or like to let this one slide, or charge charge a little less, or whatever. Can they do that in our system, or does it prevent that flexibility? Because sometimes that flexibility can eat into your profits if you do that too much. So is there consistency in other areas, not just this? And I know we're
so
going off the topic,
yeah,
but it
so
also goes to
the,
keeping the customer happy.
So the thing is with that is there's a fine line between keeping the customer happy and helping the customer to remain legal. Okay, and so we do our best to help our customers remain legal. So just to address that one thing, and this is something obviously that's happened. They call it, the client will call up, meaning the management company will call them and say, "Hey, I want to give this package for free because they're a board member." Okay. And what I do is I remind, or our staff, because they know this, we remind that management company owner that it's not legal in most states to give a document package for free because they're a board member. Because the specific laws in most states say if the association has a board member, they can have no remuneration for being a board member. Okay, there can be no financial benefit to that person for being a board member. And as soon as you give them a document set for free, or you treat them differently than you would treat anyone else, that's remuneration. And so that management company is then putting themselves in a position of possible liability or going against the law. So we remind them of those things. But to answer your question, yes, absolutely. If someone said, "Oh, I want to do a favor, I want to cut this price," we absolutely have that. In most cases, we did our part, so we still get paid. So we actually have a button that we have access to that says free minus GDN fee. So if the management company wants to give it for free, they can give it for free, and then
So
we
I
get
guess my
our part.
point with what you're saying and how we got to this is
Yeah,
there's two forms of customer service that we deal with. There's the customer service for the deals, the sales, the documents,
correct.
the certifications, everything that goes out and keeping that well-oiled machine working, which then if we do our job right, those calls are not going to the owner's companies.
Right.
And then there's the customer service we provide to our customers. So do we
Right.
want to distinctually, we're talking today about the customer service issues we take from them,
Right.
but we also provide our customer service. So
Do them right.
isn't there a way we could show any company by virtue of maybe sharing a customer's perspective, not just stories, but letting them talk possibly to a customer that we have that will say, obviously we could find people that say good things, but will we
Hmm.
let them talk to anybody in our company about any owner in our company about our
Oh,
customer service?
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
you don't have a problem with that, and that would be kind of tricky, right? Because people are busy and
No,
it's not something we do.
look, I have no problem with that because I have probably testimonial from every one of our clients at one point or another. Sometimes it's an email where they say, "We love you guys. We know you're working for us. We know that you're a part of our team." So I
And
have no
what's the
problem.
essence? The essence of that is the personalized service, because I really want to get to this point, which is the
Yeah,
personalized service we give to our clients. I mean, obviously, we like a point person at the company, and we're not talking to everybody because there's
right,
only so many of us, right?
right.
But we're able to have a small force because of the way we do business, I think, and our philosophy. And then, I don't think they're waiting on hold number 27 with us. We're
Correct.
also not, we're on purpose trying to grow very strategically. So as we grow, we structure ourselves to be able to give that, or we won't grow. I mean, we literally will stop marketing to make sure our structure is right. Yeah.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. But I mean, the point is with our company from day one, as you know, the founder from 1999, right? When you started this company, when you guys had the idea to do this, it was how do we make this process as easy as possible, as painless as possible, as profitable as possible for everyone involved? And that involves customer service.
And I was doing it from the angle of a realtor that
Mm,
we were traveling to get this stuff. We were
right,
going to the office and signing and picking it up and waiting for it. It was wasting our time. So we were
right.
looking at it from that point of view.
Right. So you're looking at from a realtor and also as a small business owner, right? Small
Yeah.
business being less than 50 employees. You were at that time a small business owner because you were the broker of the real estate
Right.
firm.
Yeah.
And now you're the owner of Get Docs now as a small business.
So
So we're
think about
looking
it.
at,
I'd have to go across. This is actual customer service. You're servicing
yeah,
so many people by doing this fast too. I mean, when you think
right,
about it, everybody
right.
that touches the process, lender, agent, everybody is doing things so fast. They really take it for granted now. When you actually compare it to what we had to do 20, 25 years ago. Go
Yeah.
ahead. I'm sorry. Go
Yeah.
ahead. But I want to
So,
finish.
so to your point, yes, customer service is the most important thing that we're always looking at customer service. And our thing is, I've been with the company for 11 years now. And as long as I've been here, we've said we don't want our phone to ring and we don't want your phone to ring, management company. Okay. And so we don't want our phone to ring, which means our system has to work properly. We don't want the people calling because they can't figure out what button to push. Okay, so we go from that standpoint. We don't want we don't want your phone to ring. We don't want your people to have to deal with customer service calls. And that means we're doing our job right. So if we take care of that, and then your people don't have to. So what do? As Joe mentioned, we control our growth. Okay, we have a small team here, but we can do that because our phone doesn't ring that much. We talked about earlier the percentage of contacts that we get in a day. Um,
From an owner's standpoint, though, wouldn't less be more from this standpoint? I don't have to have 6 people in that escrow department. I don't, and
Absolutely.
I'm exaggerating. It's
No, no, no,
probably more like
no,
2 or 3 people. And what happens is, let me just say
mhm,
this. What happens is we start to feel like we need to keep them. I've seen it where we sign up, we get sign up someone, we start with them, and they still want to hold on to these people. I don't know if it's well, unless this doesn't work out with us, and when it does, they still kind of they're very slow to let people go or restructure their company around the people because they feel they need them, and they really only need them because they had such a bulky, clunky way of it.
yeah.
It's the way they did it. It was the best way at the
So
time, of course, but yeah.
okay, so I'm going to go back to we had a story last time when we were talking about embezzlement, and I was talking about the company that we talked to that had the one guy that did their escrows and he ended up stealing from them. Go check out the embezzlement video for that story. But what I want to say is that same client, the same company, they had the one guy that was the escrow guy that worked with accounting to process the escrows. So he still had to go to accounting to get information and make sure everything was done correctly. Okay. When he left and then they brought us in, they had two people in accounting that focused on getting us started, like as far as like getting everything in the system and getting the process running smoothly. But then once they were set up, and this was 6,500 doors. Okay. Once they were set up, they had their accounting person, who was still the head of accounting, did their escrows also. Okay.
Right? Isn't it a good thing that if I pay 90,000 in expenses to cope with a problem, that I can cope with that problem in a different way? Do you think our way, which isn't, it isn't like they're doing it, that's the best, they only know that. Then our way comes along, it's more automated, and they can look at it, they're still dealing with it. They can look at ours, test it maybe, look at it, and they can figure on saving 2.5 people.
Right.
Do you think that an owner can, let's have an owner visualize what would they do with $75,000 a year?
Okay.
Okay, they could even pay bonus to that one person that's working part-time. And that person will be so grateful and happy and be there, and they have 60 grand to work with. What can they do to grow their company with 5 grand a month to invest in themselves, their people, or their company? What kind of growth are we talking about? It's not necessarily homeowners association sign up. It's their people growing their minds and being able to be sharper and better. I mean, so can you elaborate on my elaboration, which is what the owner should really see can come from this if they're paying to solve the problem?
We have one owner that bought their own building, and she said to me, she said, "Hey, I bought this building because of the money that I'm getting from Get Docs Now, the revenue that's being generated."
Doesn't that make us feel good? I mean, we're really just
That's
supporting
awesome.
them
Yeah,
in a specific way, doing our job. But they're
absolutely.
literally attributing other success, like they're feeling, I had the ability to do it because I made the decision to accept what you're saying. Like you're telling me you could change my life, and then we're saying we're not doing this to change your life. We're just doing our job. And what
Right.
happens from it is you make decisions different, right? If you're having to deal with the clunkiness of or the daily barrage of people, then you just, I throw money at, I got money, I'm making profit. I start
Mhm.
my life is different. I just spend that money. Now I make smaller profit, but that's the profit I focus on. This is a different situation that we can present, and you don't have to jump all the way in, right? We can work with them to experiment a little bit for a couple of weeks, a few weeks or so,
Sure.
just to ease it in.
Sure.
Or do you like to go is it hard to switch back from jumping in with us? Not that we like to talk about that.
No, not at all. I mean, it's literally to start working with us. We have to do our background stuff, but then when you're ready to go, all you do is tell people, go to Get Docs Now. And if for some reason you're not happy with what we're doing, all you do is quit telling people to go to Get Docs Now.
I bet your setup is huge. Setup to me is part of customer service. So when we're helping someone get into the system, setup is part of that. So setup is essential. Is it really, like a lot of people say to me that I've heard is, I don't want to even bother with months of setup.
Yeah, that's really the perception. And if they've worked with our client, with our competitors, evidently it is difficult. So much so that our two main competitors both say they have a white glove service to help with the heavy lifting of the setup. So evidently it's pretty hard to get started with them. I mean, that's on their websites. Go look it out, check it out. Don't take my word for it. But with us, we don't have that because it's really not that difficult to get going with us. We do our team does the bulk of what has to happen, which is really getting addresses in, making sure everything's set up properly. It's fairly simple on the management company side.
Just a well thought out business practice.
Yeah,
We just thought the
absolutely,
business practice
absolutely.
out.
There's a lot of things that we do differently that we're, we are literally the industry leader in this, right? I mean, like we talked about earlier, you guys started this in 1999. You sold your first package in 2001. The first competitor didn't come on until 2004. Then they sold. Then they came back with another company in 2008. So they've basically been following us this whole way, right?
We've been pretty consistent. I can tell you that we've
Yeah,
changed with the times and the
yeah.
laws, but we're just doing our own thing and
So
growing at a measurable rate. Wouldn't you say, like, we don't want to mess this up for people? We don't want to, we could go out there and sign everybody
Look,
up, but we don't want to do that.
I'm gonna say this in the most positive way I can say it. Okay, and it's this: we are not gonna go. We want our customer service to be what it needs to be for our clients. Okay, and so we are not going to grow beyond that need or that ability, and we're also not going to lie to people in order to get them to do business with us. We're not going to lie to people, and this is something I've heard. Unfortunately, I've heard it quite a bit. Where, oh, so and so told me that we could do this, and then once I got there, they weren't. It couldn't happen. They were led astray. I've talked to people that are in-house. We were talking about in-house a lot today. Talked to people that are in-house that were in-house, went to a competitor. They were so dissatisfied, they went back in-house and even maybe tried another competitor and went back in-house. And so now when we're talking to them, they're like, I've already been burned twice.
They're so
And
gun shy.
yeah,
They're so
so
gun
they're
shy.
not
Yeah.
willing to give that a shot. So yeah, so that's from that kind of customer service side. Yeah, that's a big deal. Yep. So but what I was going to say is that we are the leader. I mean, one of the things that we did, which the others have since followed, is we made sure that there's redundancy or no redundancy, right? So once you enter a piece of information one time in our system, that's it. You don't have to enter that same piece of information anywhere else. Whereas with the others, I was told sometimes it was 3 or 4 places that you had to put the same information.
Still
So
now, still
what's
even in
Look, I
2021.
don't know. I was told that was 2017 that I
Is
was
that
told
a
that. So
in a sense, that's a non like retrofit fix? I mean, that could just be the way it is for them.
yeah,
And we wrote our site. So we're getting off the topic a little bit of
yeah,
customer
way
service,
off the
but
top. Yeah.
I think it's all. But I'm going to argue with you on that. I
Okay.
think it is all customer service. The site being up, the site doing its job, the download not corrupting. It's all, we've gone through every one of these routes. I'm sure our customers, our competitors have too. And because we take care of them based on the phone ringing, and now the phone doesn't ring, everything is customer service. The way
Yeah.
we do business, our philosophy of doing business, are wanting to help our clients, which are the owners, make more profit. And we want to help their workforce not work so hard on
Yeah.
documents. I mean, there's other things we can help with technology, but really this is the focus that we have here, and we do it pretty darn good, don't you? I
Yeah.
mean, I'm patting ourselves on the back here.
Yeah. Yeah. So hey, I want to get one more story for a client real quick. So we have a client that was with the owner of the company, worked for a different management company, and they were in-house. They didn't use us, and then she went out and started her own company. So from day one, she's been using GetDocs now, and with on day one, so she was by herself, manager, one person, got her first HOA, started using GetDocs now from day one, and she grew. And within 3 years, she was over 30 associations. She's got a staff of people. She has one person that does their resale documents.
How big when she started, did you say?
One association.
How big? 30
Now
now?
she's over 30 now. Within 4 years, she was over 30 associations. But
So
here's what
basically you're saying in so many words, growing with us was a benefit at
yeah,
was
so
that,
this
seeing it that
exactly.
way.
So here's her testimonial. Her testimonial is that with us in the beginning, the revenue that she got and the ease of you doing business with us in the beginning helped her to hire her second employee. So she hired one based on the associations that she had. I think when she had 3 associations, she hired one person. And then as she grew, the revenue, the ease of doing business with us allowed her to hire her third employee.
Able to
And
grow.
now, what's that?
Able to grow.
Able to grow.
As
Yeah.
opposed to dealing with business, which prevents, it's weird, business that you get almost prevents you from growing
Well,
in a way.
we have this conversation all the time. When do you hire your next employee?
Busier than a one-arm cherry picker. I've heard
Yes.
that, right? I mean, how
Yes.
busy do you need to be to know, are you making money? Just busy?
And so when you're comfortable enough to know that, hey, I have this revenue coming in, and that revenue helps me to hire that next employee that I need to generate more revenue, right? And so we were in her testimonial, we were integral in her growing that company. And now she's, like I said, she's got, I mean, she's huge compared to, we're talking about the 2,500 doors. She's at like almost 10,000 doors, I think now. And over,
How long ago? What did you say? How
I
long
think that
ago?
was 4 years ago when
All
she
right. Well,
started.
that's
Yeah.
great.
So yeah, she's doing awesome. And there's, like I said, one person in her office that does escrows along with other stuff. And that's it. And so,
Well, that makes us feel good when we hear that. I mean, we like to
absolutely.
think we're a part of that. We like to sell that we are helping that, but it really, it's there's connections to it, and
Yeah.
we make the connections. And sometimes you can fight it. You can go, nah, you really didn't. But it really is. We are a time saver. Then it's how
Yeah.
you choose to invest your time. I mean, if you choose to invest your time in twiddling your thumbs, that's your choice. But
Yeah.
if you choose to grow your business, you'll have the ability to do it, and that's kind of what we believe we give that opportunity.
So
We present that in a sense.
what we we started this with, for me, I believe customer service is time and money, right? Everything is time and money. And I go, well, what is customer service? Time and money. Well, what kind of to wrap this up, if you're in-house or even if you're not in-house, even if you're using our competitor, look at the amount of time that your company is, the time and money that you're spending on customer service within your company. Okay. And if it's an inordinate amount, you're losing money. If you're losing time, if your people are on the phone dealing with in any way, shape, or form, if you're a management company and you have people on the phone dealing with resale document customer service issues, you need to address that.
And if I could dovetail to
Please.
your conclusion, the opportunity cost of what you're not able to make because this anchor pulls you down. I can't even give you a number because it's up to you on how
Right.
you would invest your time, effort, and extra money you'd save. So
Right.
this could be way bigger than you even realize, than money you're saving by using us, but the money you're not making by not using us. So I'll leave it on that.
I'm gonna end on this. I will. I think you and I have had different sides of this argument, Joe. But I'll tell you this: I don't know of any client that we've gotten in the 11 years I've been here. I don't know anyone that's come to us because they wanted to make more money. However, everyone has said, "I can't believe how much more money I make." So, the
And that's
customer service
from my
removing
point of
that,
view.
absolutely.
Okay, I started this company because I was a realtor and I didn't want to do it. I didn't want
Yeah,
to go get the documents. But as I'm doing it now, I have a place where I'm like, I want these people to make as much money as they can.
yeah.
And I think we have measured the effect over 20,
We have.
21 years, 20 years. I mean,
Yep.
and so we know, and I would say we're a secret sauce, but we don't want that to be too, secretive anymore. So we just
Yeah.
want to
So
help as many people as possible.
maybe we'll have to do another video, Joe, on the profits and what we've done and different ways where we've helped our clients to
Yeah.
improve their profits.
But it is that, and you really don't feel it. I guess we
Yeah.
could keep going on. We're trying to conclude this, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So customer service, it's time and money.
Yep.
Get yours back.